Thank you for joining us today. We have an awesome program for you today. And voila, I know you see that we are looking better and we are shining through like we should. And the show is going to be great. Stay tuned. I want to play a special message for you, and it's going to bless your life. Coming up right after these commercials. Hey, bring my purse, because this ain't my real lipstick.
Your copy of Praying from the Third Dimension, the revised edition by Dr. Juanita Bynum.
How can I get from just the flesh realm of praying, just the regular English realm of praying, into getting into a realm of prayer where the conversation is about my ability to hear from God rather than my ability to speak? But the most important part of prayer that we as believers cannot afford to miss in this hour, and that is the part where we are able to hear from God. And the Lord gave me to revise this book. He gave me to add some things to it that He was giving me recently. And so we did that. And now this book is available for you today.
Praying from the Third Dimension, the revised edition. To purchase your copy today, call 866-942-9686 or log on to JuanitaBynum.com. Join Dr. Juanita Bynum for the Bring Back the Glory Conference, October 12th through the 14th at the Lake Charles Civic Center. All seats are free. Bring Back the Glory Now, held in Lake Charles, Louisiana, October 12th through the 14th. All seats are free. For more information, call 866-942-9686 or log on to JuanitaBynum.com.
I am so glad that you have joined me today, and I know you all can see that we are looking better. Are we looking better? Camera's looking better. We are, trying to do our very best to improve what you see and what you hear every single day. And for that, I am quite excited. And I want to, before I go into the program today, I asked myself yesterday, and you kind of have those moments where you're wondering, am I really, really getting through to anybody? And is people really being blessed by this? Or, and not just blessed goosebumps, but lives being changed. And yesterday I came across this video, and before I go into today's message, I gotta play this for you because it is going to bless your life. At least I pray that it bless your life the way that it blessed mine. Listen to this testimony right here from Miss MIKKO DOOLEY.
Good morning. It's a dreary morning in Chicago. Crazy. Morning meditation. That's what's going on. I'm listening. I'm breathing. I'm thinking. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I look like this because if anybody knows, Good morning. I've been doing some soul cleansing for 45 days. And I took off all makeup. I didn't want to see my hair. Good morning. And I didn't want to get dressed. I wanted to learn to accept me for who I was without all the glitz and glam. So for those that's chiming in, I've been doing this soul searching for about 45 days. Y'all, first of all, before I begin, I'm not perfect. I want everybody to know that's watching me. I want to let you see what it feels like to be in my shoes. Hoping and wishing that I could see your life too, but we can't do that. But I woke up this morning because I'm getting close to an age that kind of shocked me, 40. And I know some of my friends are older than 40. And some of my friends are younger than 40. And I even had a young girl call me old, and it kind of shocked me. I said, I'm getting old. So I had to realize, what are some of the things that I've been doing wrong? And one of those things was harboring painful feelings. So let me explain something to y'all. I woke up just like this because this is typically every woman's morning. They wake up, they look in the mirror, they drink their coffee or their tea. They're scrambling their kids to get ready, whether it's school time or they going to camp. And you have a moment for yourself. Good morning. And you start thinking about your life. And it starts with that mother pain. Tap that screen if anybody knows what I'm talking about. A lot of us as women have had hurtful situations growing up. And as I talk to more women, I come to find out that the start of our pain is how we were raised. And I've been asking this question, why we don't get along, so I had to analyze myself. So I'm going to share my story with you. I'm adopted, for those that don't know. And I didn't know I was adopted until about 11 years old. And from that point, I started to feel separated, like something was missing at that young, tender age. I had so many feelings. I was so upset that even when I took a bath, I used to sing a song that says, "Why you treat me so bad?" Y'all remember that song? I used to sing aloud for my parents to hear because I would think every time I got a whooping or because I was in trouble was because I was adopted. I was the only girl, and I had nothing but brothers. And so I felt as though my father was harder on me and my mother was harder on me. And all because I knew I was adopted. I started to feel something in my soul. It was like I needed to find my mother. I felt like I didn't belong in this household. I started to ignore what God truly blessed me with. Sometimes you don't get to choose your family. Sometimes God chooses your family for you. And I took a perfect situation and I flipped it inside out because I was angry as a child. I wanted to know who my mother was. I wanted to know who my sisters looked like or my brothers. I hope you guys could see me. Tap that screen if y'all could see me. Might have been a technical issue. I don't know. But I just want to let you know. Can you guys see me? Good morning. You guys got to really understand that we got to let that pain go. And I'm turning 40. And I've been holding on to the fact that my mother gave me up all these years. Every relationship that I give in, every job that I get in, I carry this pain with me, and it turned into rejection. So anytime somebody rejected me, or somebody turned me down, or turned my idea down, or anything, I got frustrated. And it has something to do with the way I came up. Hey, Nicole. Nicole, now you know we grew up together. You know I was always on the block, crying every day at the end of the block with y'all talking about something. I want to know where my real mama at. I want to know where my real mama at. Instead of looking at, God blessed me with two parents that were educated, that loved God, and wanted me to be the best I needed to be in life. I destroyed my childhood because I was hurt. I was in pain. So I'm here to let you know, some of you guys have been given second chances, and God has given you a family. It may not be your blood. It may not be somebody you grew up in a house with. It might be a friend that you met later down the line. It might be a cousin that's actually in your job. Thank you. It might be somebody that's around you all the time, that God has given you the family that you need to make it. You need to pay attention to your surroundings and stop holding on to the past. So I'm telling you guys, I turned 40. And for 45 days, I've taken off all my makeup. I have been putting scarves on. Some people think that I'm some type of African motive activist or something. That's not Miss MIKKO. You don't know me. Look through my timeline. I wear weave. I curse a little. I get an attitude a little. Miss MIKKO is not delivered yet. You understand that? I'm not perfect. But I'm trying to recognize the things that hurt me and stop me from being the best I need to be. So while I'm going through what I'm going through, I'm sharing with the world. Because I know it's not just me alone. I'm not the only one that's at home crying. I'm not the only one that's hurt because of the past. I'm not the only one that got an attitude. I'm not the only one that's going to check a girl. I'm not the only one that can curse somebody out in my inbox. I'm not the only one that's had messed up communication skills with brothers in relationships. Simply because I'm harboring and holding on to the past. Guys, when I say we holding on to the past, it's affecting us now. It is. He gave me, Nicole, thank you. I'm glad you said that. Nicole was on the block. That's my best friend from the block, y'all. Truth, Miss MIKKO is not telling you no lie. If anybody knows my parents, I have the greatest parents in the world, most educated parents. Parents that have instilled the best in me. Even when I chose to go on the block, my parents made sure I got my education. My mother made sure I read that Bible. My parents made sure I had a great foundation. But I destroyed all that, guys, because I was searching for my mother and I wanted to know why. Why my mama gave me up? Why my mama threw me away in the garbage? Why my mama do that to me? Why? And I'm sitting around my girlfriend sharing that shame every day. Girl, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened. So one of the sermons that actually saved my life, and I'm going to share some news with you guys, and I haven't begun to share it. But Juanita Bynum reached out to me, and only if she knew that her time series helped me to wake up about being blind. I shared it on my page. If you didn't listen to it, I need you to listen to it. Because she said something so powerful in that message. She says, you sitting around other people that's blind. You sitting around saying, this happened to me when I was 9. This happened to me when I was 12. This happened to me when I was 14. This happened to me when I was 16. You blind and they blind and y'all sitting on the curb, not going anywhere because you're blind. I was blind, y'all. And some of us are still blind. And I'm just waking up. I'm just waking up. When people think that my life is great, my life is just like everybody else. I suffer just like everybody else. I struggle just like everybody else. I've been in bad relationships, good relationships. I've turned down deals. I've gotten in situations and jobs where people didn't understand me, understand my attitude. I'm just like every woman, not black woman, just woman, period. So I'm just trying to share with you guys that some of my pain comes from my past, me not knowing my mama. And some of y'all probably knew your mother. Some of you guys had great relationships and it turns out. So if you have a mother and she's still living today, I'm here to let you know, put aside your differences. Make amends. Grow that relationship with that woman that is the question mark in your life all this time. And right now, I am going to learn to love my adopted mother more than ever. When I say my mother bent over backwards for me, when I went to jail, when I wanted to go to school, when I wanted to do everything that I wanted to do, my adopted mother gave me everything. And I had the audacity to hurt her seriously because I had an attitude, because I wanted to know where my real mother was. I punished my adopted mother and my father for years. And this week I turned 40. I made 25 years of mistakes. I did it my way. And from this day forward, I'm not doing it my way. I'm doing it God's way now. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I've got to change, y'all. And it starts with me. So from this day forward, I'm going to learn to love the family that God has given me. And accept the things that has happened to me because God wanted it to happen. He is the writer. He is the author of my life. It is a reason why I went through all the things that I went through. And it's the same with you. Your life is written for a reason. So let's stop trying to figure out the why and understand today. And understand that if we learn to forgive, it will make us have a better future. So this is me giving you my story. My story that hurts and cuts me so damn deep that I can't relate to somebody. I don't know why I look like I look. I don't know why I'm so loud the way I'm loud. I don't know why I'm crazy the way I'm crazy. I don't know where my intelligence come from. But I can't go backwards. I can't go figure out where my mother is, but I can figure out that God gave me a mother. And if you don't know LaWanda B. Dooley, I'm here to let you know my mother is everything to me. And so is my father. And I spent years hating it when I should have loved it. So if God grants me 40 more years or 20 years or 10 years or even a year, I'm going to spend this year and I'm going to spend these 40 years loving the people God has given me to cherish me, to love me, to help me when I need. I've been too busy loving people that never loved me. So we as women, we've been so hurt because of our past. We've allowed other people to come in and we've given them the love thinking that that was going to give us love back. That is not it. That's not it. Some of us have been loving the wrong people. So from this day forward, I'm not going to spend my time loving other people. I'm going to love the people God has given me. And I'm going to accept it. I'm going to own up to it. And I'm going to stand firm. And I'm going to be proud. No longer will I allow this depression to creep up on me and spin around in my head and whisper that I should kill myself, or whisper that my life is over, or whisper that my life ain't nothing. We all get those voices. And it stems from something. So I'm here to let you guys know. Let go of that past. God has something special for us all. Only if we let go and understand that God been using us. God has been using us. And he has put people in your life for a reason. I love you, I love you, I love you. But this is morning meditation with Miss MIKKO. And I'm sorry for shedding tears. But I want to let you know, I am just like you. And we can get through this, ladies. We can truly heal ourselves. And we can heal together. First by telling your story. Get it out. Let it out. Let the tears flow. But it's okay. I'm getting ready to get up and start my day. I hope you are too. I love you. Broke education.
Well, what can I say? What can I say? When I tell you that took me down, I'm talking about down till I had to just, the tears. Because you never know whose life you are touching. And while we're right there, I'm looking at so many of the comments. Even somebody said to me, oops, did you know she cursed? And, we got to let people be themselves. I don't shake at stuff like that because, when I look at what God is doing in this woman, who's been to jail and all the stuff that she has encountered in her life. And now she has 2 daughters and run her own beauty school and helping people. And she came up with the idea of broke education. And that's for people who can't afford the education. And she's doing things to cause them to be able to, young girls, to be able to go to cosmetology school. And I just want to wait right here for a minute, because when you start thinking about life and forgiveness and the things that we encounter as individuals, going through those moments of unforgiveness, and I'm looking at some of your comments on the screen, and I ran across somebody that made a statement, Nancy Baker Ford. Can you dial into us? Because before I go into today's lesson, Nancy Baker Ford said, not even 5 minutes that MIKKO was on, she said, I just got delivered from years of some things that I've been going through. And can I get Nancy Baker Ford to dial the number? And it's 866-798-4490. 866-798-4490. What did you just say? Okay. 866-798-4490. If Nancy Baker Ford can dial us, I would appreciate that. Angel Natural says that's a message by itself. Come on, God using people to put his message across, Christ in her. That's what I'm talking about. That's what, let me see if this is Miss MIKKO, because I sent out a text for her to call in as well, because it's really all about real talk, you know, and that's the point that I have been trying to make since I sat down in this seat July the 2nd. And that is mixing the reality of life with spirituality and causing spirituality to affect our reality. That is what I'm trying to accomplish sitting here. It's much warfare, as I encounter. And when I say warfare, I don't mean, nothing that a giant can't handle. Small thing for a giant. That's how you have to think about who God has called you to be. And all of you, the same thing. I want you to take that mentality that we go through challenges. Challenges mean this can be resolved and solved. Hard times is you may not never get out. You know what I mean? But we go through challenges, and challenges is for us to pray for the resolve of it. Nancy is on the line, and we're fixing the speaker so we'll be able to hear her. Nancy is on the line. If she can't get through it, you can put on the speakerphone. I can hold her to my microphone if you can't. Nancy's coming up. Nancy, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How are you today, sweetheart?
I am blessed. I am blessed by the grace of God.
What about that message that sister that I just played? What is it about that message that affected you to the point that you posted what you just posted? And I read it and I felt the weight of it. It literally jumped off that page. Tell us what you felt while she was talking.
I felt what she was going through. I'm 57 years old. And for years, I have been putting a Band-Aid over rejection, over hurt, and over pain for years. I come from a background of being 8 years old, taking on the burden of taking care of my siblings while my mom worked. I come from a family where my mom had to work and my father was there were so many dysfunctions in the family. As I started to get older, I never knew what it was to be a child. So my mom was the type of person that was very strict. There was things that I couldn't do, but she kept us in church. My father was he sang in a quartet group, but I followed them to church every time. So we were always in church. But there was a point in time where behind the scenes, people don't see the hurt and pain that people are going through, especially that generation coming up.
Wow.
My mom, my father would come home drunk, and he would beat her and stuff like that. And she never had any friends. She had people that she socialized with, but she never had anyone that she would, talk to or whatever. And by me being the oldest, I had a sister that was mentally retarded that was 1 year older than I was.
Wow.
But by me being considered the oldest, she would sit down and I would just see her tears. And I would feel her hurt and I would feel her pain, But as I got older, I started to rebel. And as I rebelled, because she would depend on me. I was her backbone. But she would send my brothers or whatever to find me and to bring me back to a place that I didn't want to be at, you know. So I was just seeing her hurt and pain, and then going through the things that I went through as far as taking care of my siblings or whatever. As we got older, I started to find myself drowning and, you know, to medicating myself, you know, and looking for love all in the wrong places.
Wow.
And not finding that or whatever, but trying to run away from the things, you know, in my household, you know. But as I got older, I was the type that my mom, what she would do is she would leave. She would leave for 2 weeks at a time because she was the only one. Her family wasn't in. We were born and raised in Chicago. My mom was from Texas. My father was from Mississippi. But my mom's family was not there. So she would leave 2 weeks at a time. She would leave me there with an alcoholic dad, you know. And I would take on the pressures of making sure that, you know, they ate, you know, and things like that.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So at what point did you realize in your adult life, and this is just for the sake of time because I have MIKKO on the other line.
I understand. Yeah.
No, I just want to ask you this. At what point did you recognize that you really it felt like, because this is what it feels like when you carry around unforgiveness, you feel like you carrying a whole nother body. At what point did you realize you were really carrying around another body to the point that what you had gone through was now really beginning to affect your life? And as short as you can, what about today's word coming from Miss MIKKO that found you, that helped you?
Finding myself putting a Band-Aid on everything that I went through, looking for all the things that was in the world, you know, trying to fill that void, you know, from drugs, alcohol, significant others, marriages, and all that, you know, feeling the hurt and pain of rejection, you know, and then the rejection, being rejected, you know, because I was grounded, you know, because I understood what it was to have the faith to believe in Jesus Christ, you know, I looked for my deliverance, but I could not get my deliverance. When I thought that I had my deliverance, I would Band-Aid it. It was, you know, I would cover it up and I would feel good for a moment, but then I would just find myself going around in a vicious circle, you know, relapsing like a drug addict, you know, relapsing back to the same place and finding myself going through those same things over and over again. But with her saying what she has said, on last Friday we had a prophetic service in our church. And God used me the same way MIKKO, you know, was used. You know, I had to get my deliverance, you know, in order to get to the place that I needed to get. I knew I needed to let that, and it had came back up again. It came back up again, and I was just tired of just putting it down in my soul. So what I did was I stood up and I just testified and let people know, because I know there's other people, other women especially out there that is hurting, you know, within the church.
Yes.
So God used me and I stood up and I just testified of what I come from and the things and oh wow, the Spirit of the Lord was so tremendous.
My God.
And I just felt when I knew that my deliverance, that they wanted me to sit down. But me, myself, I knew that God was working, and I said I was not. I needed to get my deliverance right then and there, and that's what I did. And I just let God just cleanse me. I mean, that waited for years, from time for 8 years old up until now. You know what? It all came out.
And I want to say to somebody that's watching, you know, I want to thank Janine Banks, because while you were talking, I saw a remark that Janine Banks put up, and she said that someone said, I will tune back in when Dr. Bynum is back on the line. And when you run into situations like that, it's really called spiritual paparazzi and idolatry. Because when a person is really looking for help, when they're really looking for help, if I was out in the ocean and I was drowning and there was no boat in sight. And a drunk man or a billy goat came along with a life raft and a life jacket, and he threw me a life jacket. I certainly wouldn't say, I'm waiting on Juanita Bynum to come out here and save me. I would grab the lifeline that's available to me. And I always say that, you know, we don't need to judge, because, and that's the reason why I don't like talking about people. That's the reason why I'm not a gossipy person, because you never know where your deliverance is coming from. You never know who has the answer for your deliverance. And when you put your mouth on people and now you in a place where you need help, you can't get the help that you need because you feel guilty and convicted about receiving the help, because you know you have tainted the line of communication. And I appreciate you today, because what we don't realize, the Bible said that we overcome him by the blood of the Lamb, meaning the devil, by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of our testimony. And when you are finished with a lifestyle, you're not embarrassed about it and you're not ashamed of it, but you know that you walk through the things that you've gone through so that you can be able to throw somebody a lifeline. And sis, I appreciate you for calling. And we got Sister MIKKO on the line. Oh, she's calling in. And I want you all to know today that God himself has orchestrated today's program. I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt, because what do I believe that God allowed me to do when he said, sit down here? The Lord told me when he told me to sit down, when that Saturday was, I got off the line that Saturday, I went in the living room and I sat down and I said, God, now what was that all about? Because, you know, I don't even like going on Facebook like that. Oh God, I hate it. You know, it just, Facebook is so messy, and just some of any and everything is up there, and people coming out their face saying everything and anything, and Christians saying things that I never thought I would see a Christian say. And while I'm on this, I want to hit this spirit right here. Christians got to be careful about the stuff that you repost that's got a lot of crazy stuff in it. Talking about, I'm reposting this because I like it. We're not supposed to repost something that doesn't edify and build up the kingdom of God. And, you know, when I look at some of the stuff that, you know, somebody posted something on my page, and it was, you know, this calendar thing about black man and chocolate, and would you like him in your bed? And I picked up the phone and called them. And I said, you a woman of God? She said, well, prophets, I was just saying that I just thought he was fine. I said, but you don't post pictures of a man where all the way down, as far as the picture can show, you don't know if he still have clothes on. I said, because you're tainting and messing with your witness, because you're really testifying of really where your spirit is. And that's why we got to be careful of all the stuff that we put up on Facebook, because a lot of it really exposes where you walk in with God. You know, the Bible said that a wise man guides his affairs with discretion. And so I have to be the person to just be honest and tell you the truth. And so when we are people that God is using, and I'm encouraging people that are on this page, you know, I'm not trying to be a superstar on Facebook. Many of you have ministries and you're waiting for somebody to tell you when, or give you a microphone, or set you up on the front row, or put you in a pulpit, when the life that you've lived is your ministry. And when the Lord prompts you, and I'm not saying you got to go every day, but when God prompts you, you ought to be the first one to pick up your phone, the same phone that you look at all that craziness on Facebook. We cannot say what is crazy on Facebook if we're not sitting here making a difference about what is being seen on Facebook. You got people posting pictures of children, little girls gyrating their bodies like grown women. There's no way in the world that I would allow my child to be portrayed like that, where my child is humping and grinding and breaking it down like it's hot. That's a 5-year-old. That's a 4-year-old. That's not cute. That is suggestive to a pedophile. Oh, my God, I know I'm talking. We got to be careful, people of God. If we're going to be instruments that is going to change this world, or going to change the world that you live in, the world that describes and defines the world you live in, you got to be the person that says, I make the difference. And that's the thing I told somebody. I can go to sleep every night. I can lay my head down and I can rest. And I don't have to lay down with conviction and condemnation because I know that I have not made a difference in this world. I can lay my head down knowing that I didn't allow this day to go by without me being a blessing to somebody. I don't care if they don't have a white robe on. I don't care if they don't smell like olive oil. I don't care if they don't go to church. Because there's enough mess that have happened in the church that we ought to praise God that anybody want to go to church, especially the kind of stuff that we still seeing happen in the church. The difference is in you. And that's why I read Mahatma Gandhi's story when he said, be the change that you want to see in others. Oh, we got Sister MIKKO on the line, and she's my sister in Christ. And MIKKO, join us today. I'm so happy to have you on. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Well, I can't even begin to tell you how many people today were tremendously blessed by your testimony. And can you just share with us, because you and I were talking the other day when I reached out to you, and people, let me tell you how I reached out to her. She had an incident on Facebook where they did something to mess with her name and to steal her identity. And something happened with her bank account and all of that. And instead of her having a pity party, she wanted to use it as an opportunity to be a blessing to some other people. And I'm just giving you the short version. And instead of me going on there to go fund it, I asked her to call my ministry and that I wanted to sow a seed. And she called the ministry, and it just took off from there. And she just ended up being my daughter, sister, my niece, my auntie, because, when she get that thing on her, she Auntie MIKKO to everybody. She would get you straight. But from that point on, I just felt like God wanted me to pour into her life. And that's what I'm talking about, people. There's so many people around you, and we fighting each other in the church, and we going through the same craziness with sisters in the church that you done grew up in the church with. And we're just repeating the same bad habits when there's people out there that you can reach out to and be a blessing to. And MIKKO, share with the audience some of what we were talking about, the reason why I had you to come on today. And you were talking about jealousy. And why can't we be a blessing to each other as men and women and brothers and sisters that are in God, that's on the same side? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. One of the things that I have noticed in my life, that I was always angry, even if I go out to eat, or if a sister said something to me out of pocket. I always wanted the worldly spirit would jump all over me. And I had to ask myself, because when I'm doing this 40-day, 5-day cleansing, and when I say cleansing, I mean I took off everything, and I wanted to know me for me. And I wanted to know why and what triggered me to feel the way I feel when I responded to women. And with all the world crisis going on in this world today, I try to tell everybody that the only way we're going to resolve this issue is through love. And it starts with us as women. So one of my quests was trying to find out, and I still am. I ask a lot of women every day, why are we so angry? And one of the things that I had to find out for myself, and it was a deep-rooted issue, was the fact that my mother threw me in the garbage. And I know as women, when we grow up, our people would tell us, forget it, move over, and keep going. And
right.
A lot of us have buried the issue, but we haven't dealt with the issue.
Wow.
When I made that video yesterday, it helped me to release, because I don't know if anybody knows, testimony isn't just getting up to tell somebody something. It's actually therapy. And that's what God wants you to do. He wants you to tell the world what you went through so you can advise somebody else before they get into it, or help them to get through what they may be going through, the same thing you're going through. And I couldn't hold that story on it. Some of us as women, we keep diaries, and we keep our secrets. We don't want nobody to know. We want everybody to know we're perfect, and we can dress, and we got it all together. When in reality, a lot of us are hurting from some issues deep-rooted. And it starts with, I think, the mother and daughter situation. A lot of women have had some terrible situations with their mothers, and I think we need to jump on that, and we need to face that. And I just know that that's part of our reason on why we as women, especially of color, we don't get along. We hold on to these issues. And then what we do is we replace the love that was lost with people that don't have no business in our lives.
Wow.
So we end up getting in bad relationships, terrible relationships, abusive relationships, whether it's emotional, we're too hurt. And I'm glad I'm on the line. One of the sermons that Juanita Bynum has said that changed my life, and I have it on my page, and it was called The Time Theory. And when I say, Dr. Juanita, you preached that thing, that was real. You said the blind leading the blind. Everybody is around the world talking about, girl, this happened to me when I was 12. This happened to me when I was 13. This happened to me when I was 16. And we steadily feeding each other this negativity, staying in the same place instead of coming up with solutions. And all this time, Dr. Juanita Bynum has always told us, we need to find what the problem is. We need to pray and we need to let it go. Because we can't go no further in life with these attitudes. We can't go no further with this harboring our spirit. You can't love anybody if you don't love yourself.
My God.
So when I'm realizing, and guys, I want you guys to know, I'm not perfect. I curse a little. I have a drink a little. I get upset. This thing is a journey that is not just going to be overnight. You can't go to church one day and expect everything to be gone the next day, especially with women that have deeply rooted issues. And some of us have some deeply rooted issues. And I want to charge you to get over those issues. I want you to charge you. There's no such thing as calling your mama up and having an argument again and bring it back up to the old situation. You just got to let that go. The serenity prayer says, accept the things that you cannot change. We cannot change the past. But what we can do is change what happens in the future. And it starts with your mindset. A lot of us are just acting insane. Insane means we're doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. You can't do it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So with my journey, guys, I'm not perfect. I'm still going through this journey. And with Dr. Juanita, I am learning more about myself, and I'm aligning myself vertically with the word. That don't mean I have to wear a dress down to the floor. That don't mean I have to go to church every day, but I do need to belong to a church, because the church is going to hold me accountable to make sure I stay in line.
Wow.
This is why we stay in church. We don't stay in church because we want to make friends and look off and look good. We stay in church so we can get an accountability partner so they can pull our coattail when we slip it out. And that is the reason why we get into these fellowships and we create these sisterhoods, because if we can't create sisterhood, we just front in church in front of the pastor that we get along, and as soon as we get out, we don't have no sisterhood. Something's wrong.
Wow.
This is why we're not healing as women. But, I am still learning too, Dr. Juanita, and I listen to you all the time. And your words are powerful because you live your life transparent as well. Mm-hmm. And the world has condemned you just for living. And the same things that you went through as a woman, we all probably have been through. And we need to learn from each other how to get out those situations.
That's right.
So it's us being transparent as women that will help each other instead of lying and come up in church with a dress and some heels on and act like we perfect. It ain't happening like that. We know some dirty stuff going on. But when we lie, we end up turning people away from the word of God. But when you tell the truth and then you become up out of that and you become victorious, that's when we know God is alive.
My God. You are a prime example of what I believe my mission is, and that mission is I have preached to church people and church to people just about my entire life. And yes, people have gotten saved and lives changed because of the ministry that God has given me. But what I'm sensing now is that there is a harvest out there that is so massive. I mean, so great. The Bible said that the harvest is ripe. Ripe meaning that it's so heavy. Whenever something is ripe, it's on a tree, like some of you right now. Let me give you a great revelation that God showed me, that you want to know, is it time for my ministry? Or am I in the right place for my ministry? Am I doing the right thing as it relates to my ministry? You will know that when everything gets too heavy for you to carry it. When you know that it's time to pick an orange or to pick a peach, it's because it gets heavy on the vine. And if somebody don't pick it, it's going to fall to the ground, and that's how it get bruised. That's why they have to hire people to go out and pick at the right season, because if the fruit start falling from the tree and hitting the ground, it bruises. So though it's fruit, it's bruised fruit. And so we got a lot of bruised fruit in the kingdom of God, because the harvest out there is ripe. And you got people that are falling and hitting the ground, and the enemy taking advantage over their lives, because there is no workers in the field to pick that fruit at the right time. When I came across Miss MIKKO's video, it was during the time when everybody was rioting. And you need to go to her page and look at that video where she said, y'all marching again? And I watched that video with tears coming down my face. And from that point, I just started following her and going back on her page and listening to what she had to say. And it was in me watching that video that I saw a woman of God, that I saw an end time prophet, that I saw an end time evangelist. May not look like with a white dress on, but I saw somebody that had a voice in the earth and that God wanted to use. And I knew then that it was my responsibility to grab a hold to her and say, you can go, and you can go now. Because of life's experience, you got something to tell somebody, and you gonna grab a lot of people in this next generation, and we need you now. And when she said, I'm not perfect, let me tell you something. God doesn't use what is perfect, because if he did, nobody would be used. God used what is broken. God used what is of a contrite spirit. In other words, he uses the person that says, God, I can't, but you can. He uses a person that says, God, I'm not worthy, but I will go in your name if you send me. God, here am I. I'm where I am, and I'm who I am. But whatever it is you desire for me to do, I'm here now, and I'm ready to do it, and I'm ready to make my contribution to society. That's what the church is designed for. We are designed to receive the word of God and then go out in society and make our contribution to society as a Christian. And it is the way that we live our lives is what evangelizes the world. Not because you can quote 59,000 scriptures. Not because you've been to Bible college. Because I know a lot of fools that have been to Bible college. I know a lot of people that cannot walk straight down the street, let alone walk a straight life, that got theology degrees. So that doesn't impress me. What impressed me is somebody that know how to keep coming back to God. Somebody that know how to keep saying, God, it's me again. I'm knocking again. God, it's me again. Forgive me, Lord. God, build me up. God, strengthen me. And somebody who is striving for righteousness. Are you hearing what I'm saying today? My God, God is preaching today. And whoever says, well, I don't want to be on here because I don't know if I want to hear this person. Let me tell you something. This video that's being played today is going to preach to people that would never listen to a word from me or you. I don't think y'all want to hear that right there. I don't think, because that's the problem. That's the problem with people that are in ministry. Some people that are in ministry, we are so impressed with our own messages. Do you not know I've never been one of those people? And my staff can tell you that I don't like listening to myself preach. I don't sit down and listen to my own self and say, woo, that was so powerful. As a matter of fact, if I come through an office space, or I go through an area and they watching me, I would say, can you turn that down? Or can you put your earphones on with that? Because I don't get impressed by that, because I know that is not Juanita Bynum. That is the Lord. That is not me, MIKKO. That is God. My daddy told me a long time ago, you can taste success, but you better not swallow it, because the minute you swallow it, you're going to be full of yourself. No, I'm not impressed with me. I'm not impressed with nothing that I do, MIKKO. This is all God. If it wasn't for the grace of God and the mercy of God, where would I be? I would be just like anybody else. I keep telling you all that you are graced. If you are watching this video today, you are graced that you even have a mindset to serve God, to seek God. Do you not know I read something on this page, MIKKO? I read something yesterday. Last night, matter of fact, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep. And I picked up my phone and I started reading some of the comments. And there was a girl on here that said, oh my God, I just watched somebody jump off the bridge. out of the window of my job. She said the police and the boats are trying to get to them. And then somebody else said, I hope they are alive. And I said, my God, I said it so loud until one of my staff members that was laying across the couch sleep, she sat up. I said, this is what I'm talking about. I said, people are sitting here listening to this word while somebody is watching somebody jump off of a bridge because they do not have hope and they do not have anybody to help them to understand that you can make it, that you don't have to kill yourself, that this is resolvable, that we serve a God that can make it right. We serve a God that can heal your emotions. We serve a God that can shake you and that can bind the hand of the enemy and make him take his hands off of your life. Because the only reason why he has his hands on your life is because he knows the people that are connected to your life, that you're going to be instrumental in bringing them into the ark of safety. The warfare is not about you. It's about what you have been assigned to do. It's about your purpose. And that's why I keep telling you all, you ought to lift your hands up and give God praise every day that your mind is able to even calculate the fact that I know that God is real. We should not ever take that for granted. I don't care if you're not perfect, but you're not who you used to be. I don't care if you still smoke a little bit or drink a little bit. Nobody is who they are overnight. And I said that to somebody, that I heard somebody make a statement one time. And they said, if so-and-so don't stop playing with God, God gonna kill them. And I turned around to them and I said, but he didn't kill you when you was in your mess. He didn't kill you when you was bed hopping. He didn't kill you when you was lying and cheating and being manipulative and conniving. God didn't kill you. And the same grace that brought you out, that same grace is affordable and available to anybody that need it. Who are we to judge somebody? Shame on you. Shame on you as a Christian if you look at anybody's life and judge anybody because of what you see on the outside. Because you don't know people's prayer life. You don't know their private time with God. You don't know the times that they've gotten drunk. And while they're laying there in their drunken stupor, they saying, God help me. You don't know people's prayers. And that's why prayer is powerful. That's why prayer is personal. That's why you can't judge a person's prayer, because you don't know the power of them praying. And I keep telling you all the time, God is going to save some people, and he's going to use some people, and he's going to let them walk the streets, and they're going to minister to some people. But there is going to be some troubled people that God is going to save them and then take them, because they don't have the tenacity to live a saved life. They don't have the strength that it takes to resist the fowls of the devil. So there are some people that God is going to save them. And that's why you couldn't sit up at nobody's funeral talking about, well, I know they went to hell. You don't know where they went. You don't know where nobody goes. You can only testify to what you see. But that's why God judges the heart. The Bible said man looks on the outward appearance, but God, he searches the heart. And that's why he said we are to pray in the spirit, because the spirit of the Lord knows the very intent of the heart. It even knows what you intended to do. Because you got people that lie and pretend all the time. God will deal with people for their intent. Because anybody can pretend to walk right. Anybody can pretend, like MIKKO said, to love somebody. You can pretend like you care about somebody. But it's God that will judge the intent of your spirit. And the body of Christ needs to stop judging each other. You got to stop running your mouth all the time about what you don't know about. Somebody say something to you, you don't know nothing about that. You weren't there. You didn't see it. You didn't hear it. The Bible said testify to that which you know and see, not gossip and hearsay. And we don't give each other a chance to grow. And that's why people don't want to come to church. Because the minute they walk in church with green hair and purple hair and earrings in their nose and earrings in their lips, there you go starting to judge, talking about bless them God because they on their way to hell. Well, let me give you a little testimony right quick. Let me tell you why I reach out to anybody. I don't care what they look like. Because when I was going through my transition and I was going through a hard time, and when I say a hard time, I didn't see no way out. And I remember when I was locked outside of my hotel room, $49 a night. and I filed bankruptcy and lost everything I had. I lost all my cars. I lost all of my mountaintop friends. Everybody that said they was my friend. But when my life hit the ground, they walked off from me. I sat in that lobby, MIKKO, and I was sitting in that lobby because I was locked out all night. And that evening, I went to the gym at 9 o'clock that morning, was locked out around about 6 o'clock. Some church people came to the lobby. Preachers with the turned-back collars. Ladies had on their big hats. It was about 6 or 7 of them. And they were on their way to a conference. The 6 o'clock news was on. And somebody looked over at the counter and said, ain't that Juanita Bynum? And somebody said, yeah, that's her. But while they saying, ain't that Juanita Bynum, I look up on the monitor and my life is on the news. And they walk out. When they come back from church, I'm still sitting there. It's about 1:30 in the morning. And they start ordering sandwiches and soup. And somebody said, she's still sitting there? You know what I wanted to say? I can hear you. I can hear you talking about me. They said, she's still sitting there. They got their food and they went on upstairs. And after a while, the little girl that was working the counter, I would never forget it. Her name was Angel. She walked over to me and she said, can I ask you something? And I said, yeah. She said, you've been sitting here a long time. And I said, yes. She said, can I help you with anything? I said, I'm locked out of my room. And she said, you want me to key your room? I said, no, I don't have any money and I don't have anybody to call. She said, well, are you hungry? And I said, yes, I am. And she said, do you want some soup and sandwich? And I said, I don't have any money. She said, that's okay. I'll get it for you. She went over there and she got me the soup, MIKKO, and she got me the sandwich. And when she came and set it down in front of me, I went to put my spoon in the soup and the tears start coming down my face. And that girl put her hand on top of my hand. And when she put her hand on top of my hand, she had an eye tattooed on her hand. She had tattoos all up her arms. She had tattoos on her neck. She had an eye pierce and a nose pierce and a pierce on her lip and a pierce on her tongue. And you know what she said to me? She said, Miss Bynum, I know who you are. She said, but I believe in the God in you. And I know God is going to raise you back up. And anything that you need while you in this hotel, I'm going to key your room. And you ain't got to pay for nothing else. I'm going to take care of you until you leave here. And you know what God said to me? I just introduced you to the kingdom. And the church just went to their room. So you don't have to tell me about what real love is. You don't have to tell me not to judge anybody because you don't know who got your help. You don't know who's holding your miracle. And that's why I'm sensitive. I don't care what people look like. If God pricks my heart and tell me to love them and minister to them and sow into them and give to them, I'm going to obey God. Because why, people of God? We're looking for the kingdom. We ain't looking for the church. We're not looking for the religious institution. We're trying to find the people that's about the kingdom. And what is the kingdom? The kingdom is the people that have a sensitivity and a discernment to the heartbeat and the passions and the concerns of God. Not position, not bishop, evangelist, prophetess, not doctor, nobody, but just the person that's willing to be sensitive to God and to say, Lord, what would you have me to do? That's why the harvest is ripe. And that's why the laborers are few. Because we consider labor a suit and some alligator shoes and some red bottoms and a fierce suit and getting my hair beat and the latest makeup and taking the microphone, yelling at each other. Girl, you killed that song, but you didn't do nothing but perform for the people that's already in the church. All you did was sit up there and riff and run and entertain for somebody to say, girl, you did that. But while you were singing, did anybody jump up and run to the altar and throw themselves down at your feet and say, God, save me right now? While you were preaching, it's an insult if a person, a sinner, come in your church and they walk out and tell you, I enjoyed the message, but you didn't give your heart to God. That's an insult. That's not a compliment. Because we're supposed to preach until the sinner man come running saying, what must I do? Tell me, what must I do? Tell me, what must I put down? What is it that I need to do to get this Christ into my life? But instead, preaching is now entertainment. Preaching is now who is the best. Preaching is now, oh, did you hear them do that? Did you hear the way they scrawl? Did you hear the way they outpreach so-and-so? Conferences, it's no longer us coming together as a convocation so that we can get the next move of God. It's now who walked away and was the hit of the conference. Nobody is a hit unless the power of God erupted that place and people start running saying, not only do I want to be saved, but the righteous is saying, save me the more. Good Lord, have mercy. I don't know what got stirred up in me today, but I'm here to tell you right now, we got to get it right, and we got to get it right now. We got to stop this foolishness. We got to get back on our faces and pray before you grab a microphone. That's God's people. You don't know what God want to say to them. Nobody who's consulting the Lord anymore, asking God, what would you have me to say? I know what I studied, but if this is not what you would have me to say, then confuse my notes. Let them fall off the pulpit. But I want you to word my mouth, because these are your people, and I have no right with your people. This is your people, and they need an audience with you and not an audience with me. We are nothing and nobody in the presence of God. And I heard one of my favorite writers say, Abraham Heschel, Rabbi Abraham Heschel, said that the true believer and the true person that is righteous and called of God need to go on an all-out search and seeking God like never before to do what? Find your nothingness. Find your nothingness. Find a place in your life where you can say, without God, I can do nothing. Without Him, I would fail. For without God, my life would be worthless. It would be like a ship without a sail. Oh, without God, I can do nothing. And without Him, I would fail. So it's without God, my life would be worthless. It would be just like a ship without a sail. My God, that song. Oh my God, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Search me, Lord.
Yes, touch me, Lord.
Search me, Lord. Turn the light from heaven on my heart. And anything that you will find that doesn't please thee, take it out and free me. So search me, Lord. Search me, Lord. Turn the light from heaven on my heart, and anything that you may find that doesn't please thee, take it out and free me. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, people. I don't know about you all, but I just feel that urgency today. And I give God praise today. I give Him praise for you. Sister MIKKO, I thank God for what God has done. And I know I'm all out of time. But you know what? It was worth it. But I wanna play this. This is my bumblebee pick. I need y'all to hear this. I need y'all to hear this. It's perfect. This came in last night.
More of you and less of me. Flesh denied, spirit increased. Daily wash me through and through, till all you see in me is you. More of you
Thank you, Jesus.
and less of me. Flesh denied, spirit increased. Daily wash me through and through, till all you see in me is you. See me holy, see me true, see me loving like you do. Daily wash me through and through, till all you see in me is you. See me holy, see me true.
Hallelujah.
See me loving like you do. Daily wash me through and through, till all you see in me is you. Daily wash me through and through, till all you see in me is you. Wash me, make me brand new, till all you see in me is you. Purge me and wash me. Oh, please, Jesus, Jesus, till all you see in me is you.
I just want God to do that. I just want him to just keep purifying me. Just keep purifying me, Jesus. Keep purifying me, Jesus. Keep purifying me, Jesus. I don't know about y'all, but I just want to be right. I want to live right every day, every second. I just want to love like him. I want to love everybody. I don't want to hold nothing in my heart against nobody. I want to love everybody. Just let it go, people. Let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it all go. I've been through enough to hold it for the rest of my life, but I don't, and I can't. I can't let anything have that kind of power over me, because I made a decision that no other spirit will rule my life but the Spirit of the true and living God. Are you hearing God today? We're getting ready. That's what the Lord told me to do this conference. Bring back the glory now, because it's the glory of God. You can't sit in the glory of God and stay the same. You can't. It's impossible. I'm just being obedient by sitting here. Miss MIKKO is just, thank you so much for your life.
No, thank you. No, thank you. And I want you to continue crying, but I want the world to know something about you, Dr. Juanita Bynum. I want to dispel and debunk all those myths that's out there. If nobody knows your true spirit, you are truly a woman of God. All those pastors that's been out here, and if none of you have been following Dr. Juanita Bynum, she's been preaching out against these pastors that are not preaching the word of God, not investing in our community. For those that don't know this woman, you don't know this woman. Her tears are real. Her word is real. She has tried to forewarn the church. They called her crazy, but she ain't crazy. That lady is working with God. She is working with a power beyond us. And if we were to take the time out and to truly listen, I think this world would be in a better place. I wish I was there, Dr. Juanita, to hold you, because I know you are a woman just like me, and we are all going through what we need to go through. But we need to hold each other as sisters in Christ, and it help us to restore this land, because there's no gang, there's no job, there's no building, there's no 60 spirits that's out here, nothing but God. And I'm rolling with you. I'm 100% rolling with you. You got me. Lord, use me for anything you want me to do in Jesus' name. If you need me, Lord, please use me. Use me to help your people. Use me to restore Dr. Juanita Bynum. Lord, she needs you too. Y'all, we need to pray for Dr. Juanita Bynum, because she's carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. And Dr. Juanita, I just want to say thank you in front of the world. You are everything to me, and you are not what people say. And you are the most beautiful person I've ever met, the most intelligent. And I thank you for breaking the word down so I can comprehend and I can understand exactly what God is saying. Some of us need to get from up under these pastors that are not preaching the word. They're preaching their lifestyle, and that's something that you don't do. And I just commend you for coming out here into this spiritual warfare and fighting up these fears with a lot of other people that are vertically aligned with the world. God bless you, Dr. Juanita. God bless you and your ministry. And I thank you so much for everything you have done. Thank you. So I feel you when you're pain, because I'm crying every day when I see the world, when I see our brothers dying, when people are just getting whacked, and all this stuff that is going on. It's a bad spirit. And the only thing that's going to fix it is God. The only thing. We need to teach our children this word. We need to stand up and live this word and not just talk it, but walk it. And that's what we must do. And I commend you, Dr. Dr. Juanita, for walking, even in the midst when it felt dark, when people were against you, and I wish I was there to feed you. But like you said, a woman with tattoos, all of us have had God to come in our life, but we haven't recognized it. God works through people, and there has been God in everyone's life through our trials and tribulations, and we need to open our eyes and stop being blind. Dr. Juanita, I commend you, and I praise you, and I thank you so much. You just don't have a clue how you moving in my life and my daughter's life right now. I really love you so much, and I hope the world listens to you. So thank you so much for having me on with you, but I am rolling with you. God, use me for whatever.
I just say to all of that, to God be the glory, because there was a day that I didn't know if I would ever be able to sit here. There was a day that I didn't think I would ever. But God, and I made God a vow. The pain that God allowed me to experience, I made God a vow that if you get me through this, I would grab a hold to everybody I know that is going through pain, to tell them that you can make it and you will make it. And this is not the way the story ends. It is not your destiny. It is only your journey. And that's why you cannot stop here. And if you're watching today, whatever you are dealing with, it is not your destiny. It is not your destiny. It is only your journey. And for that reason, you cannot stop here. I want you to know that you cannot stop here. And this, I got to go now. I have my empowerment class tonight, good Lord. But this song today is by a girl named Trina Davis from Chicago. And they sent this in, and I'm telling you, it took me down. And this is going to be our Bumblebee feature for the week, because this is the message. I didn't intend to play that. I was going to play a Bumblebee song a day, and I'm getting many of your songs, and some of them have really blessed me. And there will be a season that God would have me to play them. And if you have a song and you've written a song and it's not on iTunes, and if it is on iTunes, and you don't mind me sharing it with the body of Christ, you can send it to AT3WITHME@3 with me, and in the subject bar, make sure you put MP3. Send it in an MP3. But this one is by Trina Davis. And of course, this song will be made available on iTunes. My God, what a song written. I believe it was written by her and her husband, Pastor Joseph Davis. It's pure as it comes. God bless you. I want you to know. I want you to be happy. I want you to be free. Most of all, I want you to be you. Because if you be you, you're going to be all that you can be. God bless you to my bumblebees. Listen to this as we lead out.
See me holy, see me true, see me loving like you do. Daily wash me through and through, till all you see in me is you.
Jesus.
See me holy.
Don't forget to order your book. I'm telling you, it's coming up. The last Monday of this month, we're going to start going through that book, praying through the third dimension. The new order just came in. Pick up the phone and dial 866-942-9686. 866-942-9686. You don't want to lag behind. It's getting ready to be powerful. Or you can go online at www JuanitaBynum.com and order your copy of Praying from the Third Dimension. We don't want to stay in this dimension. We want to go to the third dimension and beyond that. Oh, you want to do that? So pick up the phone and dial. Operators are standing by. 866-942-9686 or www.JuanitaBynum.com. We're getting ready to go through that book, and it's going to bless you. Thank you, Jesus.
Wash me, make me brand new, till all you see in me is you. Purge me, wash me, oh please, Jesus.
Join Dr. Juanita Bynum for the Bring Back the Glory Conference, October 12th through the 14th at the Lake Charles Civic Center. All seats are free. Bring Back the Glory now, held in Lake Charles, Louisiana, October 12th through the 14th. All seats are free. For more information, call 866-942-9686 or log on to JuanitaBynum.com.